Welcome to the establishment of the elite South African Police Service Unit, Special Task Force. The Special Task Force is an elite unit of the South African Police Service. The primary function of the Special Task Force is as follows: to resolve high-risk situations which cannot be dealt with efficiently by ordinary members of the South African Police Service. To resolve hostage situations on land, buses, trains, and buildings such as national key points and embassies, sea, oil platforms, ships and harbors, and owned territorial waters, and air, civilian, local, and international aircraft. To combat urban and rural terror. To provide assistance to other divisions of the SAPS, which require the specialized skills, techniques, and equipment of the unit, such as murder and robbery, motor vehicle theft, etc. To provide assistance to units responsible for the protection of high-profile VIPs, as well as the periodic unassisted protection of high-profile VIPs, where the skills required fall beyond the capabilities of available VIP units, such as the provision of snipers for counter-sniper measures. To provide a specialized rescue service and assistance during natural disasters that require high proficiency in mountaineering, emergency diving, and other rescue operations. To provide a specialized operational, tactical, and continuation training to all members of the Special Task Force to enable the unit to perform the primary and secondary functions of the unit. To provide a specialized policing service to neighboring countries' police in accordance with agreements reached between the South African establishment. In 1967, about 2,000 members of the South African Police were deployed to guard the northern border of Rhodesia, modern-day Zimbabwe, to assist the Rhodesian security forces as guerrilla attacks became more frequent during the Rhodesian Bush War. These police members proved to be ill-equipped and ineffective at dealing with guerrilla warfare and terrorism. As a result of these events, the security branch of the police began to envision a special police unit to deal with high-risk situations, such as hostage situations. Captain J. de Swart of the security branch of the police, as well as Sergeant Ralph de Pluy, a counterinsurgency COIN instructor, both veterans of the deployments in Rhodesia against Zimbabwe African National Union rebels, began a grassroots attempt to form a group of police representatives with a shared vision of formalizing a police-based special forces unit. They began to train candidate police officers in survival and bush skills to execute high-risk COIN operations and drastically reduce friendly fatalities. The members of this ragtag group were required to join the South African Police Shooting Club in order to acquire R1 battle rifles. Camouflage uniforms were also unofficially acquired. Because this group, who had taken on the name of Bliksems, was an unofficial group within the police force, the normal training facilities were not accessible. A vacant area near the Baviaanspoort Correctional Services that could be used for live-fire handgun and rifle training, and which also had an urban environment with rural terrain, was eventually found by Col. Vander Merwe. Captain de Swart then proceeded to hire instructors from Hunter Group of the South African Defense Force, SADF, such as martial arts specialist Joe Grant Grierson. Training was based around weapons handling, rural patrol formations and tactics, ambushes and skirmishes, and was based on military protocol. Rock climbing, rope access, rescue work, skydiving, and parachute training also occurred later on. Other instructors of the team were Bill Du Toit, an ex-Special Forces soldier, who specialized in terror tactics, Mr. K. Lucy, who was an expert in rope work and abseiling, Mr. T. Sagala, who had an extensive knowledge of booby traps and improvised explosive devices, Gary Magnuson and Hannes Smith, who were experienced civilian skydivers, and Major Jack Halls de Jager, who was a paratrooper in the SADF. In 1973, during the South African Games, the Israeli government stated that it would send their team, but only on the sole condition that their security would be guaranteed. Jan Mike Geldenhuys, who was the head of the South African Police Security Branch at the time, arranged for Captain de Swart and his Bliksems to provide security for the foreign team. For this, the South African police received much praise and attention from the international press, as well as a commendation from the South African Secretary for Foreign Affairs, which solidified the idea of a police special forces unit. On April 28, 1975, however, a hostage siege occurred at the Israeli embassy, and the police, lacking an official counterterrorist force, could not resolve the situation. This became known as the Fox Street Siege. In 1975, the counterinsurgency conflict in Southwest Africa, now named Namibia, also broke out, and police and military manpower was now stretched between two coin campaigns. The South African police was forced to withdraw from the Southwest African border as well as from Rhodesia and earned the Battle Honor Rhodesia. In 1975, the Bureau of State Security supported the creation of the unit, and on June 6, 1975, Brigadier Vic Verster wrote an official recommendation from the South African Police Security Branch to the Commissioner of the South African Police and proposed to structure command and control plans for the Special Task Force. Then finally on February 1st, 1976, Jan Mike Geldenhuys officially authorized the creation of the Special Task Force. Carl Dries Verwy was appointed as the first commanding officer (CO) of the Special Task Force, and Captain de Swart and the core group of the Bliksems were transferred to the Special Task Force as instructors. During the first phase of selection, the unit received 113 applications, yet only 38 were accepted, including 4 reserve members, including 1 medic. After Jan Mike Geldenhuys was appointed as the Commissioner of the South African Police in 1978, he transferred command and control of the Special Task Force from the security branch of the SAP over to counterinsurgency (COIN) under the command of Major General Vic Verster. The divisional commander was Colonel Bert Wandrag, with operational command under Major J.J. de Swart. The Special Task Force uses a wide variety of arms and assorted equipment: pistols, H&K USP and compact, Glock 17 submachine guns, H&K, MP5 and assault rifles, R5 assault rifle, R3 assault rifle, sniper rifles, Macmillan TC 50 AICS 308 and 338, Steyr SSG 69 shotguns, Beretta RS-2 02M1 and RS-200 machine gun 7, 62 mm FN MAG 7, 62 mm Browning machine gun and 12, 7 mm grenade launcher, Y21 Malawian Quattro multi-grenade launcher, 40 mm, grenades, M26 grenades, stun and smoke grenades, other equipment, RG, 31 armored personnel carrier, night vision and thermography, short-range radar imaging equipment, unmanned aerial vehicle, breaching and bomb disposal equipment vehicles, RG, 12 armored personnel carrier, RG, 31 infantry mobility vehicle, Casper mine-resistant ambush protected vehicle aircraft, MBB Bo 105 helicopter. Major operations January 25, 1983 MK cadres, Stephen Mafoko, Humphrey Makubo, and Wilfred Medela, were allegedly on their way to carry out a planned MK sabotage mission on petrol depots at Waltloo near Mamelodi. En route, the trio realized they were being tailed by the police. In an attempt to escape, they took refuge in a branch of Volksgas Bank in Silverton, Pretoria. They held 25 civilians in the bank hostage, making a number of demands, including a meeting with State President Forster, the release of Nelson Mandela and a man called Mange, as well as 100,000 rand in cash and an aircraft to fly them to Maputo. After a series of negotiations, which included the police handing over food to the cadres and hostages, in the ensuing release operation, Special Task Force members killed all 3 cadres. 2 civilians, Valerie Anderson and Anna de Klerk, were killed and many others were wounded in the shootout. General Coetzee was awarded the South African Police Star for outstanding service for the bravery he showed when he walked into the bank, unarmed, to negotiate with the cadres. July 4th, 1993, hijacked Fokker F-28 at Jan Smuts International Airport. A Fokker F-28 airliner of Royal Swazi Airlines with 21 passengers on board was hijacked and diverted to Jan Smuts Airport, near Johannesburg. The SAP Special Task Force was summoned to the scene, and 22 members were dispatched to the airport to contain the situation and release the hostages. After being informed by the psychologist on the scene that the hijacker was emotionally unstable and irrational and a threat to the hostages, the Special Task Force was given the command to recapture the aircraft and to release the hostages. The hijacker was wounded in the head during the storming of the aircraft. A hostage was wounded in the shoulder and the pilot in the leg. No casualties were sustained by members of the Special Task Force. August 10th, September 20th, 2012 Marikana miners strike, Rustenburg. Members of the Special Task Force were deployed to the Lonmin-owned mine in the Marikana area after 2 police officials, 2 security guards, and 4 miners were murdered by striking miners between the 12th and the 14th of August. On August 16th, after storming police forces with traditional weapons and small arms, 34 miners were shot dead by SAPS members and another 78 miners were injured. This became known as the Marikana Massacre. Just to mention a few successful operations by STF. Recruitment and training prospective members have to be under 32 years old and must have served at least 2 years in operational policing in the South African Police Service. The volunteer must also show certain traits such as physical strength and ability, a sense of responsibility, mental endurance, maturity, leadership skills, sound judgment, perseverance, rational and methodical thinking, handling stress, observation, and orientation skills. Applicants for a career in the Special Task Force must be willing to undergo and pass psychometric evaluations, medically fit, with doctor's recommendations, able to and skilled at swimming, prepared to undergo training for 9 months, basic and advanced training. Voluntary applicants, permanent members of the SAPS with the rank of constable, sergeant, or inspector, comply with the specific physical requirements for male or female candidates respectively, and prepare to do advanced courses for 3 years. All task force applicants are volunteers and have to comply with stringent physical requirements before being admitted to the basic training and selection course. The basic training course is 26 weeks long and includes weapons, rural and urban combat, as well as basic parachute training courses. Compulsory advanced courses include special skills such as diving, VIP protection, explosives, and medical training. The initial training period is 9 months. But completing all the requisite advanced courses to become a full-fledged Special Task Force operational member may last up to 3 years. 14. Highlighting the stringent selection process during the Special Task Force training course in 2005, 453 applications were received. When pre-selection was done, only 108 of the 453 candidates measured up to pre-selection requirements. Of the 108 who made it through pre-selection, only 42 completed the preparation and condition (PrepCon) phase, and only 20 candidates managed to complete the VASPIT phase. The recruits who did not pass the PrepCon phase admitted that their failure to do so was due to insufficient preparation for the course because they had thought that STF standards had been lowered. Members of the unit have visited foreign units of a similar role on several occasions to ensure that the structure and procedures of the unit is in line with international training courses and to keep up with changes in training and other specialized fields. 15. According to the South African Qualifications Authority, SAQA, the recipients of the National Diploma, South African Special Forces Operations Qualification ID, for 8879, will be able to apply special weapons and tactics, apply air infiltration techniques, perform building assaults, sustain themselves away from base in the field. Although membership of the Special Task Force is open to both male and female SAPS members, female operatives undergo a separate selection course. Current in 2004, it was reported that the SAPS Special Task Force may have lost nearly 60%, 130 operators, of its active members, 230 operators, to private companies recruiting security personnel to work in Iraq and other conflict countries due to the demand for their skills. As of 2004, with the implementation of affirmative action policy and a special course for females, the Special Task Force welcomed their first female operators in its ranks. In 2010, top officers of the unit were sent to the United States to brush up on their crisis response skills. In 2021 to 2022, the STF responded to 280 medium to high-risk incidents. In 2023, the first female completed the selection training program without any amendments to the training to suite females.